everyone. Welcome. Welcome to uh, this episode that rounds up our talk on aging. Those who embrace it gracefully and those who dread that word aging and they don't take kindly to any birthdays that come their way. At a certain age, I don't think that started from birth. I think at a certain age, for some reason or the other, this stigma started growing. Um, but today, at episode 30 of series 3, we're going to wrap it up. We started off by defining in episode 28 what aging really means. Um, uh, who ages at when the aging starts. We also approached and episode 29, some tips for those who really have had issues accepting that aging is natural and they fight it whichever way. No matter how we fight that, it comes. If you don't believe me, look at pictures of those who have been glamorous for years. And some of them really do age gracefully till the last day. And some of them, you couldn't believe they are the same people that used to really turn our, eyes to the magazines and all that. And we're like, wow, some on us foolish at the time to say, oh, we wish to look like that. Or some young ones are still doing that. And when you get a little bit older, you find that, nah, all that glitters is not gold. You accept what hands you are dealt with. And for some of us, we believe we are special beings from God, the way He created us. We were built on special days. No matter that, we know that we are not the prettiest, we are not the tallest, we are not the shortest, we are not the whatever est. But we accept wholeheartedly what we are given, what we have from above, and not even enhance it or touch it in any way, but keep it keep it healthy, keep it safe, keep it humming as much as we can till that knock on the door when we say goodbye to the world or to life. So, without much ado, I say welcome to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening again, and welcome to NDISCO'S Village Meeting. This is Dr. Marcellina Ndidi, M.OPARAOJI, your hostess, and delving into this other aspect. I know we talked about before what it is, why it is, when it comes, and things that can help us. We know that this issue is not isolated. It doesn't belong to a region or a people. I know since we deal with Africa culture and society, it's not peculiar to us. But this is where we delve into what else is going on in the world. And because it impacts us. And this is a natural phenomenon that impacts everyone. So as we are rounding up, we've seen how we can get out of it. We can deconstruct our mindset, turn it to positive, and now focus much on numbers. But to also be in that realm of what everybody is doing about the same topic, we asking the question, how does the world view the aging? Not the age process itself, the aging, but the aging, those who are living that at the moment, those who are um, whatever the number is, or whatever the age is, whether it's biological or chronological, how the world looks at that. because it's part of life. We have those that are little, we have those that are the medium, we have those that are at the, you know, um, all to the top of the numbers that people could get to. I don't even know who they or what the oldest chronological age that is still alive in the world, but there are people who have shared that they're up to 120 or more. So go figure. So we're asking, how does the world view the aging? Those people that are living joyfully with it or loading it. So there are concerns out there that we want to talk about on this subject matter. And hopefully, when we share that, people will know that there are certain things that can be done about it. And there are certain things that things are, it is what it is. It's a slang that we all use, right? It is what it is. So let's dig in. The top, what I'm sharing here now are the top aging concerns for money um, that include um, the following aspects. There are three that I want to touch. Okay? Um, the financial security is a big concern for many. And that's not just for one particular region of the world, it's for every region of the world. Because in some cases, we found that some regions take care of their aging, their governments, who they elected or not that they didn't elect, are doing all they can for the young ones as well as those of a certain age range, but not all. Um, the financial security is a really big topic out there. Some people have worked all their lives, most of their lives, to look forward to retiring and resting at a certain age. But they can still do that. You'll see people who have passed the retirement age of certain countries, some 65, 70, they're still working because they don't have any nest egg and they don't have any financial backend when they stop. While in some countries, they are taking care of every need that they have are taken care of, or and they live till their ripe age of when they are called to the heavens. So that's a big concern. The financial security, um, when you listen to some areas, they tell you, you know what, we ask you to save XYZ amount that is going to be good enough for you for retirement. Remember, some of these things were set when people at the age of 50 are retiring, so with Cold Watch or not. And some of them who retire at that time, they don't have that much to live, time to live, because there weren't advancement in medicines, in technology, in things that made life comfortable enough for people to live long. And so life expectancy was short. But now you see somebody who is 70. Believe it or not, I met an 80-year-old woman in the grocery store the other day, and I was looking at her so hard because we were talking about eggs. So we stopped there and we're like, she's like, oh, that's, I love eating eggs. I've lived eating eggs for years. And I'm like, oh, well, not everybody likes egg, but it's good food. It's really full of protein, and doctors recommend that. But I think she goes, well, at 80, I don't know what I can change about. I looked at her and I looked at her again. I'm like, what did you say? She said 80. I could have sworn she's 50. And um, her skin, her whole posture, everything, with her beautiful gray hair. And I'm like, I said to her, I want to be you when I grow old. She started laughing. It's like, oh, the way I see you, you'll be there. I said, from your, mouth to heaven. So that's the joke we had for that day. But there are people that are growing backwards, if I might say so. because of the advancement of everything. I can't tell you that that woman has never gone through a knife or anything to enhance her beauty. She's just naturally that. I can just say that by looking at her. You never know, but um, I can tell you she takes care of herself. Actually, at that age, she came into the store in her um, uh, what is it called now? In an outfit that shows she really was doing exercise before maybe she remembered she needed some eggs. So, not I divert. Sorry. But what I'm trying to say to you is that the financial security is a concern that places where things are in place for the old or the aging, it works. Some of them, when they are told, okay, you need $1 million to live to whatever age and that. Remember, now they can work till 70. And then some of them are, if they retire at 70, $1 million from 70 to 90 or 100 may not even be enough if they are still paying their mortgage, if they own car loans and all that stuff. That's a whole lot. And the Social Security checks that they get are never enough to manage their lifestyles that they started off with. And so, and in some societies, their children are not going to help. Their relatives are not going to help. They got to rely on what they have saved. So it's tough. And then you talk about the regions where people don't care about the old at all. And a lot of that in my African region, even where people have worked for so many years and they are promised stuff or they put in a whole lot of hard work to earn some little pittance towards their retirement, and then when the time comes they are denied that. Somebody who is heartless puts that money in another use altogether, and some of them die every day without what they are promised, and that's sad. So financial security in most regions is a concern. The other aspect is health and independence. We call it gerascophobia. That's the fear of aging. Um, uh, Gera, I think, is from gerontology, which is old age stuff. Phobia is the fear of that. So that's the breakdown. So health and independence is just there are two of those that are part of this fear. Health at a certain age, like we talked about the biological age, in there, the organs and every cell are beginning to decrease their efficiency. And so health is impacted. There are so many few that are very, very lucky, that have been lucky not to have those aspects go fast in deterioration. But there are people who are compromised by other disease states that these aspects really go down fast and their health compromised. They can't do anything. They can't move. The independence is gone and mobility is gone and a whole lot. There are people who can hear, they can't talk, they can't smell, they can't really taste. And so that's the fear of aging for some, the independence they are going to get. So that's a concern. It's not just for a particular region, it's for the whole world of aging. The third is society ageism. This one we will dwell a little bit because even if some countries or some areas can help numbers one and two, or the individuals could help themselves for numbers one and two, and this is where I encourage the young ones. The young ones, if you're listening, take it from those who have been in the system for a long time. Start building your security, financial security. In one of my episodes, I even brought an expert who talked to you about saving some of your money, about investing your money, especially those in Africa. There are certain things you can invest in and diversify your money. It's not just in your, if you're in diaspora where you live or where you are, you can diversify all over the world and not put your eggs in one basket. So start now to think of retirement. Don't wait. Some of your parents, especially those Africans, um, immigrants, they did so much for others that they forgot themselves. We're going to talk about this topic another time. So one of the things I encourage the young ones, don't be like us. Help, but don't get yourself lost in helping. Save some of your money and know what you need to do and what you don't know to do. You don't owe anybody anything, but you can help. Be kind, but then get lost in enabling others who are not ready to do for themselves. There are people like that. There are people who you help who want to be helped and they can progress, but there are people who they will never, no matter what you do. So start building your financial security of the bat. Remember, old or aging starts at 20. For your health, the young ones, don't wait till you are at a certain, or maybe when you get to the first, second, or third stage of it. Start immediately, again, as soon as 20 or after your teenage, to start taking care of your body. And that means keeping an eye on the habits you keep it on the exercise aspect, and your nutrition aspect as well. Now, going back to society ageism, that's a big one. It affects a whole lot of people out there. We have that, meaning stereotyping, prejudice, discrimination of the old or of the aging. And this is directed towards individuals based on their age, just age, nothing more, nothing less. If they're not basing that on some people being sick or not being sick or, anything else but age. So let's look more on that. So I looked at some world bodies, what they say about this. And it's alarming that they found it's becoming a nuisance out there, that they started looking into it. And the first person who coined this society ageism, when he studied it and found it's becoming a menace in the society, it's the gerontologist Robert Neil Butler. Gerontologist is the one that deals, his practice is based on old age or aging patients. Okay. So Robert Neil Butler in 1969 coined this. He likened the ageism word with racism and sexism. Racism is, we know, when you are of another race and all that, and sexism where you are boy, girl, and all that. So he opines that such terms reduce the complex human beings to oversimplified chronological categories. That means you are putting somebody in a bucket because of certain reasons, and that's not cool. That's what he says. He did not stop there. Data obtained from World Health Organization have found that 1 in 2 people worldwide hold ageist attitudes. See, where we have racist attitudes, sexist attitudes, we also have ageist attitudes against older adults. And so it calls it one of the most widespread and socially acceptable forms of prejudice against the old adults. So everybody now has their feelers up about the case of the aging. Ageism, and to find that the impact it has in the world economy is estimated to cost billions annually, say, for example, in the US, from age discrimination. That's something real. And unnecessary healthcare costs. So when you discriminate against people it also tells on them in the way of health. It's a mindset thing. It takes, it also shows in the organs and affects this um, biological aging, and it translates to cost because these people really remember their financial fears. They don't have money for the cost of drugs, the cost of hospitalization and that. And you can't leave somebody on the street. And so the emergency room, when you take them there, is costing a lot of money, and the government is losing a lot of money. That is unnecessary if you have taken care of these people. So that's on the world stage. Ageism does not just happen between individuals. That we have to know. Nobody is saying to them, oh, you are Mr. A is old and Mr. B is old. That. No, but the worst part of it is that it's built into most social structures and subconsciously. They didn't even think about it. And that is happening every day. When we talk about that, we are talking about when you go to look for jobs as at a certain age, chronological age, people don't even look at that. And, most of us are guilty who used to hire or who hire people. You're looking for the young to come in and do the job, and the old will be out. That subconsciously is what is going on, but we didn't even think about it. But it have an impact in social structures and in workplaces and everywhere else. And you see an old person coming to help or doing anything, you're like, no, 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 go sit down. You are not doing them a favor because you're making them really feel old. They are now redundant. So what I did find is that there are four primary types of ageism. Ageism being, remember, we talked about it as stereotyping, as not giving people their due respect when they do that. So we found something called unintentional, which is called implicit ageism. It means it's automatic. You didn't even think about it. You see that it's old. This person is not at a certain age that you think they could do something. You jump to conclusion. And that hurts them because when they think they can still do stuff, you are putting them down. You are taking life out of them. It's a subconscious bias. You are discriminating against them. Okay? When you do this, you operate without conscious thinking. Example, when you are laughing at old jokes relayed or being put across to people of a certain age, you are subconsciously practicing unintentional ageism. Okay? When you see them, you're taking pity on them. Like if you're sitting in the bus and one of them comes across. I have seen old people who refuse to, even if you stand up for them, who refuse to sit because you just disrespected them, thinking they are all to stand. And normally people, I will ask, would you like to sit down? No. And it depends on, you got to look very well to know, are they really too old to sit, whatever. Because some of them are really strong. I mean, we look at gray hair, first of all, and we think, oh, that person is gray. You forget there are people who have gray hair at 20. Okay? So don't assume that anytime you have somebody on the road, they are old and you can make joke and all that. I don't know if you have driven on the road and you see people, an old person of a certain age driving, and somebody's shouting, a younger person is shouting on them, get off the road if you can drive, you're too slow and all that. It will get to you, you'll be that slow. But they are doing cautious driving. That's what they're doing. So when you do that, you are unintentionally, discriminating. And that's unintentional ageism. How about intentional ageism, which is actually the direct opposite of the first one we talked about? You are explicitly, intentionally, you know, um, with bias, putting this person down, disrespecting this person because of their age. Okay. You talk down on them, um, as if they are children. That's an example. They're not. They're not stupid. They're just getting older at a certain age in life. It doesn't make this, like we said in episode 28, they still have their knowledge and wisdom. They still even decreases as they get older. The only thing is that the nerves that are sending the signals from what is in their brains to action could be a little bit slower. So we give them time to think. Some of us now, even at a certain age, even before now, it takes time to remember certain things. You have it in your eyes, you have it in your brain, but to come out, it takes slower. And eventually, sometime you'll be in another middle sentence, you just remember, oh, that's the word I wanted to, because you beat yourself up not remembering a word you just used to know. And that's what the people go through at many different levels, you know. Um, it occurs during daily interactions. Okay, you are looking at this person as if they can't function. Some of them live by themselves at a certain age. They're not asking for any help. Okay, so intentional ageism is a problem, just like unintentional ageism. Actually, the intentional one is all over the place. Okay, you are asking people to um, get out of life. They're still living. The mere fact that they can't function fast, rapidly, quickly, like they used to, doesn't make them stupid or foolish. Remember that. The other concern is interpersonal ageism. Interpersonal ageism is where people are actually thinking, how do I handle this person? Again, it's another example is talking to them like they are children. They don't deserve that. Okay. When you deal with an older person or elderly or an older adult, just like they looked at you when you were smaller as a little human, look at them as an older human. They are still human. Nothing is taken away. So when they are talking to you when you were little as older human in an adult language to make you understand that that's what you are going to be eventually, talk to them also that way because they didn't lose their faculty, they just slow. So that's a concern. It's happening a whole lot all over the world, and the older adults are not liking that. That's a complaint. The last one, but on the list, is the institutional ageism. That's a big one. The institutional ageism is hiding itself under laws, under policies, social, norms that are created just for this group of people. And it's not good. It's part of discrimination. Okay. Some mandatory stuff that happens in all these places, especially like, for example, workplaces. And it's written in one other article that when some people, and it's happening, before our eyes, everywhere you go, and it could have happened to you, the older adult that I'm talking about, that you go to an office, to a job, you've done for years, for them to bring in a younger person to become a manager or get the promotion that you are actually the person who trained this person and for them to do that. I have a lot of colleagues that have complained about that in the past. They are now being asked to work under the person that they have, and this person doesn't know anything. They come back to the older adults to ask questions of what to do. That's discrimination. Okay. So people don't know it that way. And the first person to be pushed out of a job are always the older ones because they find them now redundant. But the skills are changing a little bit because the younger ones, some of them being brought in, are not able to do certain things that they are now actually. Sometimes people advertise for the older adults because of their experiences. So in my own corporate life, we were trained to when you are um, interviewing or bringing in people for positions, especially when they are a group or a team, mix them up. Bring in, even if they are old, bring in some of them because there are benefits to having a mixed age group. That is the reason why that functions well in most corporates because the experience is passed down. The energy from the young comes up, and both energies combined, experience and the energy of not knowing and have somebody to mentor, to help, um, brings the best to the companies and productivity gets high. And that's what we fail to do. So institutions, unknowingly or knowingly, by their laws, by their rules, by their everything, they are doing this. They're killing the egos of the older ones by moving them out. Now, the age, people also frown at the age retirement age that are being placed out there. Whatever was written in the past, now people, the things that are created have given longer lives to many, that stopping them to working at a certain age, you know, lives on the street a lot of good experiences that are now lost. Okay. And you putting these people out there for what? What are they going to do? Nothing. So some of them that are wise started creating their own things that are now actually employing the younger ones. And some of them refuse to be redundant. They find something else to do. And some of them have also started going back to see where they can help. When you come to schools in the West, you find some of these retirees going back to school, to the schools to teach, even if it is half of their salary or no salary at all, but at least to have somewhere to go every day. And I recommend that. I encourage that with people in my African region, where I grew up, where I come from, to say, when you retire, don't sit at home because of the money. Longevity is also part of the game. Volunteer in schools, volunteer, they need your help. Okay, you still got it. Volunteer in it somewhere, anywhere where you can help mentor these young ones. They will listen. And maybe hopefully somebody could have in their minds to find you some pocket money somewhere. And I encourage these, entrepreneurs out there who are building their industries and building the companies. Consider a small percentage of vacancy for the older adults who could no longer work because of age limit. They are still useful. Okay. The others include other types of discrimination found out there actually is traditional ageism, for example. This one is against the older adults, workers over 50 facing longer periods of unemployment. And we see that out there. Some people are dismissed at 50 and they're living till 70, 90. What are they going to be doing for the next 20 years and all that? We need to look at that. They've passed over their promotion, excluded from technology training because some people think they are slow. Of course, they will be slow, but they will eventually learn. So, one thing that is good is that communities are building some areas within community offices to have free classes for these, older adults to learn. Libraries in some areas are doing that, but in Africa, I'm not sure what we are doing. We haven't even done anything for the young, not to talk about the old. And we have the resources, we have the money, we have everything. Uh, Just to add that. The other one out there now is the reverse ageism. This one is against young adults. This is where their expertise are dismissed. And because they ask for certain things, they have their own way of thinking, the demands they make, people label them entitled. Okay. Um, Compensations for them are lowered because they are green in the ears. They are just new to whatever. They are young, they are youth, they will have time to do that. No, some of them really are matured enough to handle that. This is age bias as well. So it goes both ways in some instances, but mostly the traditional ageism is what is out there. But we can find the one against the young adults as well. Okay. So this is, again, the worldview. Sorry, something is flying out. Worldview of the aging. I think a lot of work needs to be done in this arena, because the world now has a lot of those millennium, those baby boomers, and more. They are getting older, they are living longer, and they are living healthier and stronger. And so, with that, something has to be done to help the world. And it's not just in one region, it's all over the regions of the world doing that. And so we have to find a way to bridge that gap that we see. And bridging the gap means awareness that this exists, that the older adults have a reason for fearing those who do that, getting old, and embracing they don't like being old. And there are other people who it's like, bring it on. We need to live, we want to travel. Some of them have worked so much in their lives that it's time to really settle and do something else or to just relax and. So they embrace that. But I hope our 3 episodes on this topic have been able to convince those people who are scared to grow older to not worry, to use the tools we have provided to help them think outside the box, find a way to, I'm sorry, something is flying about here, find a way to look up above the numbers and just live. There is so much to live for. And for those who have embraced it gracefully, kudos to you. Let's have fun with that. The good things is that when you read about certain ages, they will tell you that at this age, nothing is too important anymore. At that age or that age level, whatever the age is, above 20, above 30, above 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, life gets much more relaxing. You don't have a fear of not saying what you want to say, thinking the way you want to think, and going about, living life the way you had to live it without dumping on anybody or hurting anybody. But when they ask you, to ask to your age, hey, one of those one will ask you back, what age is that? So live your life. It is your life. But while you're there, try to help others get over it. Okay. And I thank you again for listening. Next time, we're going to talk about how to prepare for this time, especially for those of you who are retiring. We have episodes because a few people have asked, what did I find about those? I will share what I found. Um, for those who are retiring and for those who have retired, of simple tips of what they could do. There are resources out there, and I'm not telling you what you don't know already, especially for those of you who've retired and those of you who have thought about retiring. Um, it's what it is. You can always find something out there. But one of the things that you could do is to hang on to your job. But well, if there's no age limit on your job, keep doing what you're doing. It's not just about the money, it's about being able to do stuff every day. But if you have age limit, find something else to do, even if it is just a new skill. And if you like, go back to school, learn something, go to class. Your children will be proud of you that, hey, we read about the 80-year-old who got her GED, that the first school leaving certificate. After her own grandchildren have already graduated from universities and all that. They all came to her graduation, like hailing her, you know. She was full of joy because she was able to accomplish something she put out to raise family. So, fellow women out there, please, this is a chance. Men, don't ever feel old, that you can enjoy every day. That is a gift. And on that note, I'm like, thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode. This is your hostess, Dr. Marcellina M.OPARAOJI, saying sayonara. See you next time.